Alright guys, so let's go ahead and do that. Jump into admin, posts, create a new post. This didn't unload the previous content properly. Alright, that's the content. Let's save. Post, let's add another one. Save that. Let's go ahead and add another one. Just trying to do this really quick so that we can get a bunch of content in there to work with. So I'm giving them random names. Ideally, think of if we had, 100 posts. There we go. All right. So we've got a bunch of posts. We can limit it to 5 per request, actually. So in our API, which we've closed, so let's go ahead and close all. In API, let's limit to 5. And then let's go to blog. And we've got 5 posts, but we know we have more in there. So what we'll do is get post count. We will call Axios get. And on our hosts API /posts /count. Then we're going to return the res to the success function. And what we'll do is in the store under site actions, we're going to export const get post count. Did we rename that in the API? Yes, okay. Get post count. We're going to return dispatch API.getPostCount. And when we get a response from that, we're going to dispatch type got post count, and then the payload is going to be res.data.count. All right. So let's copy this right here to the site reducer. We're going to say case got post count will return ... state, and then post count is going to be action.payload. Now we need to actually create that here. Post count, start off at 0. So in site actions, we've got get post count. So back in our blog wrapper, on component did mount, let's call this .props.getPostCount. And let's create that here. Get post count. Dispatch site actions get post count. There we go. Now in here, what we'll do is after this row, create another row. And this row will have div class name call medium 12, and then in here we'll have a div class name text center, And then in here, we'll have a button, class name button default. This is just a regular Bootstrap button. We'll say load more. Now we see we've got that there. We need to rig it up. So what we'll do is on click, we will call this .props.getPosts, and we'll skip the existing number of posts that we have. So in this case, it will be this .props.site.posts.length, and let's save this. And let's also make this only show if this .props.site.post_count is greater than this .props.post or site.posts.length, then we'll be able to load more. Makes sense? If there's more posts than the current ones that we've got loaded, it'll load more. So in this case, we click load more and we can see that our new ones have come through, and if I click it again, the last one will load and the button will disappear. Now if I refresh this, you'll see that on the component did mount, it called the route again to get 5 posts and to skip 0. So that's why skip is 0, and that's exactly why in the site reducer we check right here. If skip is more than 0, which means if we've already got some loaded in this session, then we will just add the new ones to the existing ones. Otherwise, we will just set it in a more forceful way to whatever the response from the API call is. So that is how to set up loading more on demand, because if we had 1,000 posts and somebody came to this page and they all had content with images and stuff, in fact, I think what we can do, because that's true, if I right click and go to network and let's refresh, the first few posts here, I'm not sure if you guys can see that. Where's that? Posts. Yeah. The first few posts have content that is well, maybe it's no, it's these ones. My post is cool, I think. One of them had was it just this one? Okay, yeah. So this is a megabyte just within the content property. So what we can do is in the API call, when we call get site posts, we're going to scope and we'll create a fields object, which will just specify which fields we want. So it's going to be ID, title is going to be true, slug is going to be true, and I think that's all we actually read from it right there. And then what we can see is that in posts, I think it was this one, the content is still being loaded. One sec. Let's refresh. All right. Where is it calling that from? I wonder. Network. Get site posts. Let me log out. Clearing my cache, refresh. Check the network tab here. We should see, no, okay. Get site posts. All right, so I guess that specifically will look more into in the next video, unless this right here works. Basically, this scope property is supposed to allow me the ability to specify fields, and maybe I'm putting it in there wrong. Let's try that. Okay, so that worked. So I guess when you include related models, there's a scope parameter, but when it's a top level API call, you don't put it in scope, it's just fields, and this basically tells it what fields you want. And so we can prevent the content from all the posts showing up here because we don't use it right here, and it's pretty large, you know. So yeah, so that's it for this video. In the next video, we'll finish up the single post page and then move on from this project specifically.